Hello everyone, welcome to this session. Our chapter is compounds of metals and we are still discussing about the metal chlorides. As for the previous session, we discussed the preparation of soluble and insoluble metal chlorides. So in this session, we'll move on to the other part, whereby we'll be discussing about the chemical properties of the metal chlorides. So basically, in this session, we'll be trying to understand how metal chlorides they behave chemically. So let's dive into it. Now, our leading objective of this session. So by the end of this session or just this lesson, students will just be able to explain the chemical properties of the metal chlorides. So let's dive into it. The first property or the first chemical property of the metal chlorides, first when they react with the concentrated sulfuric acid. So metal chlorides they liberate the hydrogen chloride gas just when warmed with the concentrated sulfuric acid. So for example, this metal chloride here, sodium chloride, when it reacts with the concentrated sulfuric acid, it results to the sodium sulfate plus the hydrogen chloride gas. So that's the example how this kind of reaction how it occurs when the metal chlorides they just liberate the hydrogen chloride gas as one of the components that is liberated after the reaction, just when warmed with the concentrated sulfuric acid. Moving on, the second property, the reaction of these metal chlorides with the oxidizing agent. So when concentrated sulfuric acid is added to the mixture of the chlorine and an oxidizing agent, for example, manganese oxide, and warmed, so a greenish gas, the chlorine gas is evolved. So, for example, the equation here is how the equation how it occurs: the sodium chloride plus the concentrated sulfuric acid plus the manganese oxide results to the manganese sulfate plus sodium sulfate plus the water plus the chlorine gas. So this is the second property of the metal chlorides when they react with the oxidizing agent. So as you can see how when they react the metal chlorides when they react with the oxidizing agent, later on they liberate the greenish gas that is the chlorine gas, as you can see here. So this is the product obtained from this kind of reaction. So that's clear for the second property of the metal chlorides. Moving on, the third property, the hydrolysis by water. So several chlorides are easily hydrolyzed by water. Examples include as follows. The first one is the magnesium chloride, then there's zinc chloride, and then there's iron chloride. So all these are just some of the chlorides that are easily hydrolyzed by water. So when the solutions of these chlorides are evaporated, basic salts or oxides of metals they remain. So that's the other property of the metal chlorides. So that's clear with this one. Moving on, the fourth property, volatility and the flame test. In terms of this, most chlorides are just more volatile than most other salts. This property it makes them just suitable for the flame test. In the flame test, certain metals they can be identified by the color their vapor imparts to the Bunsen flame. Now, the common flame colors they include as follows: the sodium will show the golden yellow flame, the potassium will show the lilac flame, the copper will show the blue-green flame. So that's the property of these chlorides, as we've said that is most of the chlorides are just more volatile than other salts. So in that way they can be used or they're just suitable for the flame test. So that's clear at this point. Moving on. Uh, the fifth point, the sublimation of this ammonium chloride. When heated, the ammonium chloride sublimes, so it forms two gases. The first one is the ammonium gas, and the second one is hydrogen chloride gas. So that's the property of the ammonium chloride. So the question is how it occurs here, as you can see. So when heated, this ammonium chloride sublimes and it forms two kinds of gases, as you can see the equation how it occurs. So it is just the ammonium gas and the hydrogen chloride gas. So that's the property of the chlorides. Specifically here talking about the ammonium chloride. That's clear. The other property, loss of water of crystallization. The hydrated chlorides they release their water of crystallization when heated. this leaves the hydrous salt behind. So here is the equation how it occurs. For example, the magnesium chloride, this kind of the hydrated chloride, it releases the water of it releases just the water of crystallization when heated. So this compound, when it is heated, it releases this kind of the releases the crystallized kinds of like water vapors when heated. So this leaves the hydrous salt behind. As you can see, this one, magnesium chloride, as the source that are left behind from this the hydrated chlorides. Yes, after releasing the crystallized water and the salt that are left behind. So that's clear for this one. Moving on. The other property, reaction with the silver nitrate and the lead nitrate. uh, the soluble chlorides react with the silver nitrate, the lead nitrate, forming insoluble white precipitates of forming the silver chloride, the lead chloride. So that's the other property of these metal chlorides. As you can see, when these soluble chlorides, the silver nitrate and the lead nitrate, they when it leads to, or they just when in their reaction it leads to the forming insoluble white precipitates of the silver chloride and the lead chlorides. So as you can see the example of the equations, as you can see the sodium chloride plus the lead nitrate leads to the this plus the silver nitrate leads to silver chloride plus the sodium nitrate. So that's how the reaction, how it occurs, and the forming of the white precipitates, as you can see. That is the, for this case, the silver chloride, and the other example, the sodium chloride plus the lead, the lead nitrate leads to the lead chloride plus the sodium nitrate. So the lead chloride here is the white precipitate that is liberated from this kind of the reaction. So the summary for this session, properties of metal chlorides. We've discussed the reaction with concentrated sulfuric acid leads to the release of the this hydrogen chloride gas. Then the other property we said, with the oxidizing agent plus the sulfuric, this concentrated sulfuric acid leads to the release of the chlorine gas. Then several are hydrolyzed by water. This kind of metal chlorides are hydrolyzed by water. Then there are some of these metal chlorides, they are just very volatile, and in such case they are useful in flame tests. Then the ammonium chloride sublimes to form these kinds of components. Then the hydrated chlorides lose water on heating. Then the soluble chlorides plus these components just leads to the white precipitates of them. So that's all I have for this session of the Scriven. If you have any question from this kind of discussion which we have, you can just leave them in the comments. So that's clear for this session, and thank you.